On behalf of New Orleans & Company and the LGBTQ Hospitality Alliance, welcome. So why take the Inclusivity Pledge? There's a lot of things that you can do with your business to show your support for our community and boost your business at the same time. Companies positioning their businesses as being LGBTQ friendly aren't marketing to a specific consumer. They're making a statement that they are inclusive and all welcoming. It's a message that resonates far beyond the LGBTQ travel market to LGBTQ allies and millennials, even prospective employees. We've come a long way in terms of LGBTQ inclusivity, but we still have a long way to go. All across the country, we're seeing hurtful bills, hurtful legislation, hurtful media that really does a number on the health and wellness of our combined communities. So all across the country, we want to elevate and uplift the experiences of the LGBTQ+ community, especially here in New Orleans. LGBTQ people across our country are under attack. We're seeing it with anti-trans legislation, bathroom bills, attacks on our nightlife and entertainers. So it's more important now than ever for us to stand together and show solidarity. Did you know that 97% of the LGBTQ community are worried about their safety and discrimination when traveling? When this community is traveling, we're looking for a lot of different things. We're looking at low-cost options, we're looking at diverse cultural experiences. We want to find all the LGBTQ hotspots, but mostly what we're looking for is friendliness. The Everyone's Welcome Here sticker is the first step you can take to show the community that you're with us. When you're out and about shopping, it's important for us to see ourselves represented in the local economy. So by putting a sticker like this in your window, it lets the community know that they are safe, welcome, and celebrated in your establishment.
As you work to share the welcoming and inclusive practices of your business, there may be some terms that you're unfamiliar with. The first word being sex, the biological makeup in terms of chromosomes, hormones, and primary and secondary sexual characteristics. This means words like male, female, and intersex. The next word is gender identity, the internal sense of self, regardless of what sex a person was assigned at birth. This means words like transgender and cisgender. Sexual orientation, a person's emotional, physical, and sexual attraction to other people. This means words like gay, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, asexual, and heterosexual. Lesbian, a woman who is emotionally, romantically, and sexually attracted to other women. Gay, a person that is emotionally, romantically, and sexually attracted to a person of the same gender. Bisexual, it is a term that describes a person that is attracted to both men and women or more than one gender identity. Transgender, a term for people whose gender identity and/or expression is different from cultural expectations based on the sex they were assigned at birth. Cisgender, a person whose gender identity is the same as the gender assigned or assumed at birth. Queer, this is an umbrella term for people within the LGBTQ community with fluid identities and orientations. Note, this is not always a welcoming and positive term. Know your audience before using. Non-binary. This term falls under the transgender umbrella and refers to a gender identity that does not conform to the binaries of male and female. Gender expressions within this group, such as clothing and behavior, vary between individuals. Gender fluid. People that are gender fluid do not limit their gender expression or identity to a fixed state. The ways in which they identify and/or present may fluctuate over time or in between settings. Two-spirit, Native American or First Nations people whose positions within a tribe encompass both traditional male and female roles. The term is not interchangeable with gay or queer, as not all LGBTQ Native Americans are considered two-spirit. Some tribes view two-spirit as a third gender. This term is not accepted and used by all Native American nations. Indigiqueer may be preferred by some indigenous people. Let's talk about pronouns, what they are and how do we use them. Because pronouns are reflexive of a person's gender identity, some people, both LGBTQ and not, may choose to use pronouns that are different from those commonly used for their birth-assigned gender. Pronouns are decided by individuals and should not be universally applied to people with similar gender identities, gender expressions, or sexual orientations. Frequently used pronouns include he, him, she, her, them, they, zir. How do you ask someone which pronouns to use for them? Before we can respectfully use pronouns, it's important to ask each person to share theirs. We should never guess which pronouns to use based on how we perceive the person's gender identity or expression. The easiest way to do this is to begin a conversation by using your own name and pronouns. For instance, my name is Latoya and my pronouns are she, her. What are yours? What is the difference between diversity and inclusion? Diversity, being composed of or having differing elements. The variety. Inclusion, feeling a sense of belonging when showing up as one's authentic self. Remember, having diversity is not the same as being inclusive. It is simply the first step to inclusivity. The next step is to show genuine support for diverse voices by making sure that they are heard, understood, and respected.
Now's the time for some workplace policies, ways that we can show our LGBTQ employees that we care about them and we want them to feel welcome. First, ensure leadership buy-in and commitment. There's no such thing as an inclusive workplace without leadership modeling it. Second, have a policy against discrimination and harassment. That's a sure way to show that you're committed to an inclusive workplace. You've already heard about the importance of pronouns. Make sure you're using gender-neutral language whenever possible. Instead of he or she, try they. This is inclusive of our non-binary friends. Then consider your benefits. If you offer them to your employees, are they inclusive of your LGBTQ employees? Your medical benefits, your leave benefits. Remember, families can look a lot of different ways. And then there's this training on being inclusive. You're getting it. How about the rest of your employees? Are you showing this to them? Are you going to bring in a consultant or a trainer? How else can we spread this message so that whenever someone walks in your door, they're all feeling that inclusivity? Do you have an LGBTQ affinity group or employee resource group? Or maybe an LGBTQ employee? Engage with them and listen to them. See if they've got some tips for you. And if one of them comes to tell you they're transitioning, be supportive and happy for them. That's a big step. And of course, create a welcoming and inclusive environment. This means everything we've talked about so far, plus things like gender-neutral restrooms and accessible ones too. Make sure all your customers and employees feel comfortable there. Consider your recruiting and hiring practices too. Are you casting that net wide enough to get a broad cross-section of people? And when they go through the hiring process, are we not letting our unconscious biases play into our considerations? And finally, practice supplier diversity too. Where are you getting your office supplies or cleaning supplies from? Can you make one more call and find an LGBTQ-owned business? We can all help each other.
So a couple of important takeaways. Number one, be kind and educated. The language that we use matters, so be intentional and respectful with the language and policies of your store. Know the issues that are impacting the community and get ahead of it.
Treat LGBTQ customers as equals. Offer the same level of service and professionalism that you offer to non-LGBTQ customers.
Also, look at ways your systems and practices can include gender-expansive options.
Evaluate your current website and social media for diversity. When I'm shopping online, I look for people that look like me. I'm looking for representation of my community.
And get involved with the community. You can do this by connecting with the LGBT Chamber of Commerce, Pride, or the Human Rights Campaign.
Take the pledge.
Take the pledge.
Thank you for taking the pledge and being committed to being an LGBTQ inclusive workplace.
Help us spread the word, and thanks for watching.